Hi, I'm Keith Abraham and welcome to your Grow Conference. I want to spend the next 45 minutes talking to you about what's important, what matters and what makes a difference to you, and more importantly, how to achieve it. We live in these crazy times, these unprecedented, chaotic times. And while everything is happening around us, we have to focus on the controllables. We have to control the controllables. What does that really look like? How you react and how you respond. How you react is the emotion, and how you respond is the action you take. But the only way you're going to do that is making sure that you have a clearly defined goal for the next 12 months. Now, the hardest thing you have to do is to spend some time and make sure that you've downloaded this handout and to work your way through this process, to be able to write and articulate the goals as we go through. So, one of the things that's happened in my business is I now virtually present rather than getting on a plane and being with you in person. But as I was talking to my clients last year, a lot of my clients said this to me: Keith, we've just got to get through COVID. And you know what I started thinking about? Is maybe this is not a time to get through COVID. Maybe this is a time to grow through it. To grow our businesses, to grow ourselves, to grow the relationships with our downline and our upline. This is a time for growth. That's why I love your theme about grow. Grow your business. This is the opportunity. You know, where there is chaos and confusion, there is also opportunities if you have a plan. So let's talk about how you get that plan and make things happen as part of that process. Now, as I go through these slides with you, one of the things I want to get you to think a little bit about is what category you're in. You know, for the last 25 years, I've spoken to 1.7 million people in 33 different countries, published books, 5 books in 12 different languages. And you know, you get to talk to a lot of people. And one of the things I can share with you is people fit basically into 4 categories. 3% of people go and make things happen. 10% of people think or expect things to happen. 60% of people just watch things happen. And 27% of people don't know what happened. How many people do you know that have got no idea about what's going on around them? So for you to be in the top 3%, there's a few things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get really clear. I want to talk about reset and defining what's important to you now. Where there is so much noise in the marketplace, we have to make sure that we are in this corridor of clarity, not the chasm of confusion. One of my favorite quotes, and I've written about it in my focus book, is I talk about you have to starve your distractions and feed your focus. You know what the majority of people are doing right now? They're feeding their distractions and they're starving their focus. So we're going to talk about resetting the goals that are most important to you. Here's the next one. I'm going to clarify your direction. What's the number one goal you want to achieve in your business in the next 12 months, in the next 6 months? What's that number one goal that you want to achieve in your business? Here's the third thing I want to spend some time about. Is I want to talk to you about refocusing on how you can develop great momentum. This is not about motivation. This is about momentum. You know, often people say, Keith, can you come and motivate our people? No, I don't do that. You need to make sure that you are creating momentum in your belief. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't believe in motivation, but motivation must come from within. And the best way to articulate the forefront for that is to making sure that you're creating momentum by taking action. So they're the 3 parts that I'm going to talk about as we go through. I love this quote from Walt Disney. He said, first think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. Let me put that up on full screen there for you. First think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. We've got to think bigger, bolder, braver. We've got to dare to believe enough in ourselves that we are worthy, deserving, and capable. We have to dream. Yes, as adults, we have to dream big dreams. And finally, we have to dare to take the first step. We have to take the first step on our journey towards what we want and move away from the things that we don't want as part of that process. So to do that, we need clarity. See, with clarity comes confidence. Would you like a little bit more confidence in your life? But what precedes that is having clarity about what you want to achieve. With clarity comes confidence. With confidence comes a higher degree of certainty. If I do this action, if I go and see these people, if I sponsor enough people in my business, I will achieve the financial results and my lifestyle goals that I want to achieve. And with certainty comes consistency. Give me a hands up. Are you consistently inconsistent? You know, we have to be consistently consistent if we want to build the momentum on moving ourselves forward. I love this quote, nothing great happens until someone becomes passionate about something. You have to have a big enough reason why. When the why becomes clear, the how becomes easy. You see, if you don't have a big enough reason why, any excuse will do. Too hot, too cold, too many, too few, too little, too much, too easy, Keith. Oh, too hard. COVID, Keith, that's what's slowing me down. And so I want you to be really clear on why, on what is your important. Page 3 in your workbook. So one of the things I often talk about is achieving the 100 goals you want to achieve in your lifetime. And I modified this a little bit for these crazy times that we live in. Because I just think that we need to, with all the controls and the things we can and can't do, whether it be travel or just, going out somewhere, I wanted you to start to think a little bit about what are those 20 things that you'd love to achieve in the next 12 weeks. Little things. Why? I don't know about you personally, but I get frustrated if I don't feel like I'm making progress. Is that you as well? I just feel that often I just don't feel like if I'm not making progress, I get frustrated. So what does that look like? Progress. We're not looking for perfection. We're not waiting for everything to be perfect. We are focusing on progress. And see, as we focus on progress, we move towards what we want and we move away from what we don't want. So, in essence, what does that look like in your life? Well, I just thought that in your handout, once again, I've given you a page with 20 key areas and there's little questions in those boxes to help you articulate. But let me get you to think a little bit about this as part of this process. Let me ask you this. What is a project you want to start, accomplish in the next 12 weeks? Next 3 months, what's that project you like? Maybe it's something around your home you're trying, maybe it's something in your business, maybe it's something in your brand X job, maybe it's something along those lines. Maybe is there an opportunity, is there a goal that you want to achieve next 12 weeks in your business to move yourself? Maybe it's to go up a level, maybe it's to go from preferred member to group builder, maybe it's just to move yourself, maybe it's to get started, to move from a wholesale member and get your business started. Maybe it's as a star sapphire, you're starting to look at, well, who do I need to work with in my downline? Who do I need to develop some leadership skills? Who do I need to help sponsor people into their front line? What's that goal? What's the sporting activity you like to do? I've got to tell you, during COVID, so I speak at 100 conferences normally. Well, I do. I speak at 100 conferences a year before COVID. And so I'd be on a plane every week, traveling all around the world, speaking to groups and organizations. And I've done a lot in the direct selling space over the last 25 years. In actual fact, I've spoken to more than 150,000 business builders, business leaders in the direct selling space. And what was really interesting is I just didn't realize how much travel I did. So I've got to tell you, I speak at 100 conferences, normally book 12 months in advance. 70 conferences vanished in 10 days last year. In March last year, 70 conferences vanished off my schedule. So I stopped and I thought a little bit about what I was going to do, and I built a studio, 3 cameras, four settings, and I delivered 101 virtual presentations from April through to the middle of December to 27,500 people in 26 different countries. Now, here's where I share this story. I got back a whole lot of time. As busy as I still was, I got back a whole lot of time. So you know what I did? I took up golf again because I was around. I started catching up with a lot more of my friends. So what's an activity you like to do with your friends? Is there a health goal you want to achieve at the moment? You've got some wonderful products out. What are some of those, your own personal health goals to be the living example of what you're talking about and what you're sharing with people? Is there a financial milestone, some debt you want to pay off, some savings you want to make? Is there a place you want to see inside your own state or inside your own county? Is there a food experience you'd like to experience? Maybe it's to learn to cook something. I've got to tell you, I've mastered barbecuing over the last 12 months. Is there a sporting event you'd like to watch? And you might think of a major sporting event, but I'm based here in Brisbane, Australia, and one of the national sports here is cricket. And so, not that I've gone and watched a whole lot of different games, but I've gone to my local cricket club where I've got a good mate of mine who's the coach there, and I've helped out doing that, and that's felt really good to do that. Is it an activity with your partner? You see, what we're talking about is we're not talking about grand things, we're talking about little things, because it's all about making progress. But you've got to articulate what it is. Is there a great weekend goal you want to achieve? Is there a holiday you want to start to plan for? Is there somebody you want to make a difference to in their life? Is there a family activity? This morning, my youngest daughter went off to a camp for 2 weeks. Now, she's 21 years of age, so it's not like a holiday summer camp. It's more of an educational camp. She's going to learn a new technique in the massage work that she does with people. And so there's things that you need to be focused on and to be able to work towards. So here's what I'd love you to do. Make sure as I'm talking to you that you're writing some of these things down. Don't sit there and let the information wash over your body. Grab the handout and add to it as you go through. Take that opportunity to do that. So once again, here's what I'd like you to start to think a little bit about is take a moment. Write down for me, what is one goal you'd like to achieve in the next 90 days, in the next 12 weeks in your business? Write that one down for me. Write down a family activity you'd like to do. Write down for me a health goal. Do this for me now. Do it right now. Don't just watch this virtual presentation. Actually do the work. Is there a financial milestone? You see, we're not looking for you to be perfect around this. We're just looking for you to take the time to write some things down. Why? Because when your upline leader comes to you, you want to be able to share, this is why I'm doing this business. This is the goals that I want to achieve in the short term. These are some of the things I want to move towards. And really important, that way they can coach and mentor you. That way you've got a big enough reason why. If you don't have a big enough reason why, remember I said before, any excuse will do. Too hot, too cold, too many, too few, too little, too much. Too hard, Keith, too easy. And so making sure that you do that. Now, once you've done that, it's really important to start to think about what your personal goals are over the next 12 months. So I want you to think about what your personal goals. Now, just so you know this, we're going to go from macro to micro. So I'm going to get you to talk about what are the goals that you want to achieve personally. Then we're going to talk about what your number one business goal is for the next 6 months. So if we look at this, page 4 in your workbook, here's what I want you to do. In your business, what's one goal? So let's say I'm invited back to present to you. Let's say we're back all together in the one room together. Let's say that's all happening. And here's the question I've got for you, is that in 12 months' time, if you had an absolutely, unbelievably fabulous year in your business, what would be the number one goal that you have achieved? If you had an absolutely, unbelievably fantastic year in your business, what's that number one goal that you would have achieved? Because that's the question I'd ask you if I ran into the street with you. Oh, Keith, you were on a virtual presentation. Here's the question I ask you. What have you achieved since that presentation? Here's the second thing I'd like you to think about. Personally, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve either for fun, in your family, or maybe adventure? Now, my definition of adventure could be a little bit different to yours. Some people's definition of adventure is going hang gliding or parachuting. Other people's definition of adventure could be sitting on a white sandy beach thinking to themselves, will I have a cocktail or will I have a soft drink? Now, here's what I'd like you to do. Will I go jet skiing or will I go out on a sailboat? So here's what I'd like you to do. Whatever your definition of adventure is, what's a great holiday you'd like to achieve next 12 months? Write that down for me. Here's the next thing I'd like you to write down for me is what do you want to achieve physically? That's your health, your fitness, and your strength in the next 12 months. Now, I'm not talking about strength of pumping on. I'm talking about strength of mindset, strength, resilience, that ability to have just that strength and resolve. I want to talk about that in a little while too. So what's that physical you want to achieve physically? Is there some pounds you want to drop? Is there a level of fitness you want to get to? You know, Keith, I want to go on a 5K fun run or a 10K, or I want to even do the half marathon. You know what, Keith? I want to go and do my personal best in the gym. Whatever your goal is, what do you want to achieve physically in the next 12 months? Now, by the way, you need one goal in each of these 4 areas. You can have more than one goal. You might have 2 or 3 in one area and only one in another area, but you have to have one in each area. Why? Balance. See, it's really easy to set the business goals because you've got all the different levels. You know, okay, a preferred group, director, you know, so you can definitely be moving yourself up the different levels in your business. But what I'd like you to start to think a little bit about now is making sure that you've got a goal in each of these areas. Why? Because your business is part of a great vehicle to help you achieve everything in your life. Everything your organization stands for is a wonderful vehicle to give you not only a level of income, but options, choices, time, be able to create a legacy. And so the final one is profitable. This is about personal profitability. This is about the savings, you know, how much you want to save, you know, what purchases you want to make in the next 12 months, what debt you want to reduce. And so thinking a little bit about just what are all those little goals that you want to achieve profitably wise, financially wise in the next 12 months. So make sure you take a time and you've written each one of those areas. Now, here's what I'd like to share with you as you're writing and listening to me, is that I want you to start to think a little bit about what are the different, what are those different goals or milestones that I'd like to achieve. But make sure you put detail around it. Don't write down, I want to lose weight. I mean, what does that mean? Is that 5 pounds? 50 pounds? You know, like what is it? Is it 1 kilo, 10 kilos? So I want you to really articulate what that goal looks like for you, and making sure that you build detail around it. If you write, I want to be successful in my AIM business. Okay, that's great. What does that mean? Is that, you know, you're working away to Blue Diamond? You know, what does that, I want you to be specific around what you want to achieve specifically in each of those areas. So to do that, you have to build description, you have to build detail, you have to build depth around the description of that goal. So making sure that you do that. Now that you've got a goal in each of those 4 areas, I want to now just get you to focus on one of those areas. I want to focus on your business. Once you get really clear on what's important, what matters, and what's going to make a difference to you in the next 6 months. Now, before I do that, I want to share with you the research that I've done over the last 18 years around high performance goal achievement. You know, I've been fortunate, as I said before, 1.7 million people. I've seen the best of the best. I've seen people who are absolutely outstanding in their field. I see people who achieve unbelievable results, and yet it's all because they've been tenacious or they've been courageous. So I want you to start to think a little bit about this. Here's what I can tell you, what I've learned about the goal setting. This is in page 5 in your workbook. There are 3 key elements for you to be able to achieve your goals. Now, the one thing I can share with you is that unless you have an emotional, mental, and physical connection to your goal, you will never truly be connected, committed, and compelled. You see, you need to be connected, committed, and compelled to your goal, because for you to achieve any goal, you're going to have to do the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown. And the only reason why you'll do those 3 is you have a big enough reason why. If you are emotionally connected, mentally, what does that look like? Why, what, how? Feel, think, do. Heart, head, hands. This is about making sure that you have all 3 components as part of your goal. Now, this is the missing link, ladies and gentlemen. This is what most people don't tell you. Most people say, you've got to have a goal. And I go, yeah, that's right, I've got to have a goal. And you've got to have a deadline for it. Yeah. And you've got to do the work, yeah. But before you get to any of that, you have to have clarity, commitment, connection to that goal. You see, you and I are creatures. We are these adult creatures. And we can experience 135 different emotions. 64 of those emotions are positive. Of those 64, they break down into 8 key areas. I call them goal drivers. Now, on page 6 in your workbook, there is a description for each of these 8 goal drivers. But what I'd like you to do as I'm talking about it is articulate how you want to feel, what your goal driver is in the next 6 months in your business, how you want to feel. So let me walk you through these goal drivers, give you a little bit of a description around them. Here's what our research tells us. People want to feel successful. People want to feel successful. What does that look like? Status, accomplishment, prestige. People want to feel purposeful. What does that look like as a goal? A bigger reason why. A goal that is bigger than you, outside of you, and lives on after you. It has a bigger why to it for you. Here's the third one. They want the goal to inspire them. So they want to feel inspired. I want to feel inspired. So what does that look like? I'm energized, I'm enthused, I'm engaged. The goal does that for me, or the pursuit of the goal does that for me. The next one here is happy. People want to feel happy. What does that look like in reality? Love. I want to love doing this. I want to love the ability to work towards this goal. It makes me happy. It makes me joyful. The process, the journey is joyful, not just the accomplishment of the goal. People want to feel organized. What does that mean? Control. They want to achieve this goal because it will give them more control financially, more control and options in their life. People want to feel respected. So it's the admiration, it's the respect of other people, or it might be family members, or it might be the people who said, you can't do it. So it might be that respect. People want to feel confident. They want to go, you know what? Who I am, what I do, how I do it, I am comfortable in being me. I'm the best version of me, not the second best version of someone else. And people want to feel relaxed. Keith, I want all the pressure taken off. I want to feel like, I'm in flow, that things are happening for the right reason. And so I want that to be part of it. So here's what I'd like you to do. Of these 8, I want you to take a moment and write down, circle one of those. Which one of those is? And if you're sitting alongside a partner, or if you're at a group, within your group and you're watching this, share it with the person you're sitting alongside. In my business in the next 6 months, I want to feel this. I want to feel successful, or I want to feel inspired. I want to feel organized. I want you to share that. Just do that really quickly for me as I flick over to this next slide as part of this process. You see, here's my belief. You've got to start with how you want to feel first. So we're going to talk about what's important to you. I want you to think a little bit about what's the number one business goal that you want to achieve in the next 6 months. So between now and the next 6 months is probably the next time you're going to have another event. So it's a wonderful time to think about what the recognition is you want to be. So page 7 in your workbook. I'm going to walk you through this, but I want you to do this activity as I walk you through this presentation. So I'm going to take a little bit more time and get you to actually write this in. Do not, I'll come back to it later, because you won't, because you're going to listen to another great speaker, and then there'll be another great speaker, and all of a sudden your Grow conference will be over and you'll go, oh, it was so good, but you haven't got a plan. See, if you don't have a plan, you panic. If you don't have a plan, you don't have control. If you don't have a plan, you'll struggle to measure your progress. So here's the step number 1. What I'd like you to write in that top, if you printed this out, it's a pink box. If you're doing it on your iPad as an editable PDF, I want you to just type in, but I would like you to type in what is your goal driver. Once again, let's go through them. So people want to feel successful. Is that how you want to feel in the next 6 months in your business? People want to feel purposeful. People want to feel inspired. People want to feel happy. People want to feel organized. People want to feel respected. People want to feel confident. People want to feel relaxed. Write that in there for me. No slacking off here. You have to write this in, because I want your upline to come and have a coaching conversation with you and say, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? So step number 1. Step number 2. Step number 2 is I want you to write in, what's the number 1 business goal you want to achieve in the next 6 months? So now I know you did it for 12 months. But where do you want to be in the next 6 months? Do you want to be in qualification for Blue Diamond? Do you want to be, Keith, I'm only really starting out. I want to get to Group Builder. Okay, great. So I want you to write in there. Now, you have to build in detail. So one of the things I want you to start to think a little bit about building in detail around this is I want you to be really specific. Now, at the back of your head is a thing called a reticular activating system. It is, in essence, where the consciousness and the subconsciousness merge together. It is your ability to focus. It is this ability to, once you've programmed into it what you want, it is then the ability to see where you want it. The best example I can give you is that if you ever thought about buying a new car, and as soon as you make a decision on what type of car you want, that's the type of car you see everywhere. Why? Because it didn't get popular, but what's happened is your reticular activating system is now looking for that opportunity. Now, if it applies for motor vehicles, why couldn't it apply for the right people for your business? Why couldn't it apply for the right prospects for your business? Why couldn't it apply for making sure that you see the opportunities to build your business? So I want you to build in detail. If you say, look, I want to be, Royal Emerald, Star Sapphire, Blue Diamond, Group Builder, whatever it might be, I want you to write it in and say, I want to be, let's say, Group Builder. Now, obviously, you know your business better than I'm ever going to know it because you're in it all the time. And you will want to check this with your upline to see if you're being realistic about your goals as well. But you might think, okay, I want to be a group builder. What does that look like? I need to sponsor 3 people frontline, or I need to have 3 people downline. I need to have, half of my group, that are on, direct shipping or direct debit. So build some detail. Now, once again, I don't know your business, so give me some latitude if I don't get the language right, or if I don't get the right terminology in your business. But it might be, you know what, Keith, I need to sponsor 5 people downline. I need to sponsor 3 people frontline. I need to sponsor one of those legs need to be 5 deep for me to reach this level. Now, if you're new in the business, go to your upline leader and ask them and say, give me the blueprint, because they've got a blueprint. Here's the beautiful part about direct sales. Everybody who is an upline leader has done what you need to do. They are here to help you grow your business. They've got a desire to assist you to become successful. That doesn't happen in the corporate world. And so one of the things I'd just be really conscious of is that whatever goal you write down, check with your upline and see if it's relevant. Maybe you're underestimating what it's going to take you. Maybe you're overestimating what it's going to take you to achieve that level as part of that process. So articulate that goal as we go through. Is that okay? Here's the third one. I want you obviously to put a time frame on it. Now, what's the 6 months from today? Now, maybe it's 5 months, because that's the qualifying period for your next incentive. Maybe that's a qualifying period for your next event. But I want you to write down what's the actual day of the week, the month, the year. So what's the date? What's the day of the week? That'll fall on a Tuesday, Keith. Okay, what's the actual month? So, what month is it? And 6 months. So be really specific on the date. The Olympics are just coming up, and one of the things is that if you're an Olympic marksman or markswoman, you're not aiming at the target, you're aiming at the bullseye. And so if you're an archer, you're not aiming at the target, you're aiming at the bullseye. And so I want you to be really specific around the date, because that's the bullseye for you. Step number 4 is I want you to write down what are the 5 reasons why. See, I want you to write down the 5 reasons why that goal is so important to you. Because when it gets tough, when it gets difficult, when somebody says no to you, so when somebody says no way, I want you to know why you're doing it. Because I want you to be able to push through some of those dips, some of those hollows, some of those valleys, so you can climb the mountain. And so you need to know what's on top of that mountain for you. What are the 5 reasons why? Now, if I was going to coach you one-on-one, I'd be sitting down there and saying, okay, tell me the number one reason why you want to build your business to blue diamond level. Tell me what's the, okay, and you might say, you know what, financial independence, great. Why is that important to you? And I'd keep on digging until I got to the real reason why. You know, see, it's so easy to say, oh, I want to be financially independent, I want to spend time with my kids, but I want you to build more depth into it, because when you get that emotional connection, when you get that connection with your heart, you become truly committed to the goal. And so when somebody says no, when it's wet outside, when it's cold outside, you know, where, you know, it's a beautiful sunny day, why go and show someone the business opportunity? Why go and sponsor someone where you can go and do that? I want you to know the reason why you'll do the uncomfortable, the inconvenient, and the unknown. Step number 5. Step number 5 is, what's your business growth? What do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to start doing in your business to achieve that goal for those reasons why in that time frame? This is hand on heart, being really honest with yourself now. What's the reason why? But more importantly now, be honest. What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to start doing? I want you to write down at least 3 things you need to stop doing and at least 3 things you need to start doing to achieve that goal. It might be, you know what, Keith, I need to stop procrastinating. Here's what I can tell you about procrastination. Procrastination is the greatest robber of self-esteem, self-confidence. What's the greatest enhancer of self-confidence? Self-discipline. When you know in your heart of hearts you should do something and you go and do it, it makes you feel better. It lifts up your spirit. It gives you the confidence. So I want you to think a little bit about, what do you need to start doing in your business? Well, it could be prospecting. You need to start going and introducing yourself to people. You need to be proactive. You need to do the work. The people that have achieved Blue Diamond, Chairman's Club Director, they have done the work. They've done the inconvenient. They've driven the miles. They've done what few people are prepared to do to achieve a lifestyle that people dream about. And so this is why it's so important for you to start to think a little bit about, what do you need to start doing? What do you need to stop doing? Maybe you need to stop compromising the price. Oh, I'll do this tomorrow. Maybe you need to stop beating up on yourself. Maybe you need to stop trying to get the people that you're sponsored to do the work and just go and do the work yourself. I don't know. You have to articulate what it might be to move yourself. Maybe you need to start sponsoring together. Maybe you've been a star sapphire for a while and you've sat there and you plateaued out. And maybe you need to, start again. Start again like you're a preferred member. Start again to work yourself through, to make things happen. What is it that you need to start doing? Maybe you need to treat it like a new business again and go and replace your front line. I get in the business that sometimes you get to a level because your energy and your enthusiasm, and then it drops off. And you know why that happens? Is because you haven't grown enough. You haven't changed enough. You haven't grown into being a leader. You built your business on energy, enthusiasm, and maybe even personality. Now you have to build it. You have to make it people stick, the stickability around leadership. And so what that might be moving forward. And step number 6, I think you know what you need to do. And if you don't know, your upline will know. Your upline leader, business building leader will know. But let me say this to you. If you're going to go and talk to your upline leader, make sure you got this goal written out first. Because don't go and sit with him or her and go, oh, I want to be successful in this business. Really? Wow, I haven't heard that before. Go there with your goal and let them share with you what they need to do. Now, here's what I'd like you to write down before you go and see them. What do you think you need to do in the next week? The next week from this Grow conference, what is the one goal you want to achieve in the next week? What's the goal you want to achieve in the second week? What's the goal you want to achieve in the third week? What's the goal you want to achieve in the fourth week? Because this is about moving towards what you want and moving away from what you don't want. And the only way you're going to do that is by taking action. Good ideas and good intentions are worth zip unless you are prepared to implement as you go through. To do that, you're going to need a mindset. This is in page 8 in your workbook. I believe there are 6 what I would call amplified attitudes. What I mean by an amplified attitude, often people say, Keith, I just have to be positive. What does that mean? I mean, I've been doing this for 25 years now. I don't know what a positive attitude means. It's too vague. It's like when people say, I want to be successful. What does that mean? Is that $1 million in the bank? Is that making $1 million a year? Is it, you know what, Keith, I actually just want to be able to walk away from my normal job and replace that money? What does that mean? So what does a positive attitude mean? No, forget that. I want you to think about amplified attitude. Whatever attitude you pick, whatever mindset you pick, you have to turn it up. You have to turn it up. And so what does that look like? Well, let me give you an example. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet, with every cell in between, what would happen in your business? What would happen to your goal if you decided to turn up with an amplified attitude that was, we look at this, that was tenacious? If you were tenacious, what would happen? What would happen if you turned up with every cell in your body believing that you were tenacious? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others if you were tenacious? If you were courageous, how would you turn up? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others? Who would you approach? On your chicken list, who would you approach? You see, sometimes the people we think, oh, they're very successful. They don't need this business. They're exactly the person that needs this business. Why? Because they might go, you know what, I'm tired of having to turn up all the time. And your business is a great business for leverage and scale. And most people, if they're high profile executives or running their own small business, they don't have scale and they don't have leverage. And sooner or later, they run out of energy. Does this make sense to you? So how would you turn up if you were courageous? How would you turn up if you had great self-love for you? How would you turn up if you were no longer your harshest critic? If now you were your best coach, your greatest cheerleader, how would you turn up? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others? If you had a lot more self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-belief in you, how would you turn up? How would you turn up? How would you turn up if you were limitless? You had limitless opportunities and you had limitless energy to take advantage of it. How would you turn up? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others? I've got to tell you, not everybody in my industry, in the speaking industry, has done what I do, have been as busy as me. And I don't say that's bully for me. It's got nothing to do with talent. All it's got to do with is that I saw an ocean of opportunities rather than a chasm of challenges. People are going to build their greatest businesses in the next 12 months in your organisation. Why? Because they saw an ocean of opportunities rather than a chasm of challenges. Limitless. What would happen if you were now empowered? If you were no longer waiting for someone to give you permission to step into your potential, how would you turn up? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you think? What would you say to yourself? What would you say to others? If you were limitless, if you were empowered, if you were self-love, courageous, tenacious, how would you turn up if you were grateful? That's a mindset. How would you turn up if you were grateful for the person you went and drove 2 hours to show the business opportunity for and they weren't there? Because it's really easy to get ticked off. How would you, are you grateful for your best friend that you've grown up through school with and you've done everything together and you go and show them this business and go, nah, I'm not interested. Why would I want to do that for? How would you turn up? How would you turn? You've got to be grateful. You see, I believe this. It's really easy to be grateful when everything is great. But what we have to find is gratitude when it's not. When it's not great, we have to find the gratitude. Why? Because if you do not see the benefit, if you don't find the gratitude, you become bitter, not better. So let me ask you to circle this. Which one of these mindsets over the next 30 days Are you going to hold very close to your heart, with every cell in your body, you're going to be one of them? Can you take a moment and share that with the person you're sitting alongside? And if you haven't, sitting by yourself, then write that down and put it on a poster somewhere in your home or in your car or in your bathroom or all of the above, and remind you constantly that your focus with every cell in your body over the next 30 days is one of these mindsets. Take a moment and do that as part of that process. You know, as I head down the home track here, one of the things that I shared with you earlier before is that we have to starve your distractions and feed your focus. Let me put that up on full screen for you. Take a screenshot of that. Starve your distractions and feed your focus. The reason why I get you to write these goals down, the reason why I'm asking you to do it while we're sitting in this presentation, the reason why I get you to do that is for this reason and this reason only. It is to make sure that you are really clear on what you're trying to achieve. It's really clear on what's important to you, what matters to you, and what's going to make a difference to you. Before I wrap things up as part of this process, I want you to think a little bit about what is it that you need to do next. This is one of the final pages in your workbook. What are you going to do in the first hour? What are you going to do on the first day, the first week, and the first month? Well, I think you've got your monthly and your weekly, but here's really important. The first hour after your Grow Conference, what are you going to actually work on doing? What are you going to work on moving towards? What are you going to work on accomplishing? Because this is about momentum. It's about taking the first step, not waiting for everything to be perfect. You know, a good plan started today is better than a perfect plan started tomorrow. Your goal is not to get it right. Your goal is to get it going. Then you can get it right. So that's about making sure that you're doing something the first day, the first hour, the first day, the first week, and the first month as part of that process. Now, if you'd like to connect with me, there's a couple of ways you do that. Now, I mentioned to you today, and let me go to this screen. I mentioned to you today this book, the Focus Book. And you don't have to buy it. On the back of your handout is a website, and it's keithabraham.com/here to help. In actual fact, let me put that up as a website address there, keithabraham.com, here to help. The book is for free as an audio book. Once again, the book is for free as an audio book. And so if you'd like to receive that, you just go into my website and you can get that as an audio book to help you on the journey moving forward as part of that process. I wanted just to share that with you because one of the things that's really important is that you are moving towards what you want. The only way you're going to start doing that is becoming a better person, becoming the best version of you, not the second best version of someone else. It's been really great spending some time with you. I hope you've got some great information. If you've got a question, you can always just go to my website, keithabraham.com, and you can just send me a message from there. If you want to get a little bit of weekly inspiration, then you can go to keithabraham.com/blog, and you can subscribe to my blog. I do a video, a 2 or 3 minute video every week, and if you'd like to receive that, you're most welcome to do that as well. It's been great spending some time with you. I thank you very much for the opportunity. But before I go, I wanted to share with you this final message. A good friend of mine had a chance to interview Sir Edmund Hillary before he passed away. And he asked him the question, what was it like when you got to Everest? Because of course, he was the first guy to climb Everest. And of course, to my friend's surprise, Sir Edmund replied this way. He said, when I got to Everest, he said, I thought it was too high. I thought it was too hard. I thought it was too cold. And so my friend said, well, what did you do? And he said, simple. I just focused on putting one foot after the other. And so let me put that up as full screen for you. The thing I'd say to you just as we head down this home track is that this is about making sure that you are taking the first step. This is about making sure that you're taking the first step around to what's important, what matters, and what makes a difference to you. To become the highest level in this business, it all starts with a decision and then you taking action, and then you making a decision and then you taking action. I wanted to say thanks very much for the opportunity and to finally say this to you. If it's not you that's going to build your business, then who's going to do it? And if now's not a good enough time, when will it ever be? If now's not a good enough time, when will it ever be for you? Because if it's not you, then who? And if it's not now, then when? I want to thank you very much. I know it's you, and I know that now is the best time to build your business. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Keith Abraham. Bye for now.